Hello, we are doing a quick little patch review. This will probably go up on YouTube as soon as I record it, which means that there are going to be videos coming out after this that are not of this latest patch. Here we go. Now, disclaimer, I've played a lot of Vanessa, a decent-ish amount of Pig, and one DOOLEY game, in which I got 7 wins on my first try, not knowing how to build a DOOLEY. I will only be able to talk about DOOLEY in retrospect, or rather with reference to playing against it and not playing for it. So here we go. Let's look at what's up here. A lot of gameplay changes, a lot of balance changes, a lot of new features. I'm gonna not know a lot of the names of this stuff because I most of my focus is on what it does, not what the name is. But anyway, here we go. Level up structure revamped to consist largely of fixed options, which is good. I think my main frustration, and you see this in some of my games already, is that if you're going for a certain build and you're preying on level up RNG to give you the cinders or give you extract for poison or burn, your build can just nosedive because you don't get the right structure, especially if you're going for a weatherglass build as Vanessa, right? It's not as huge of a problem as Pig. Sometimes you don't get the health upgrade that you want, but other than that, it's not so big of a deal because there's many types of health upgrades. 10%, spend your money, tool-based health upgrades, but you can't always get a burn up in any other way. So that's interesting, and I think it makes consistency more apparent. Most skills will now be obtained via level up, and I guess I'll bunch all of these in here, right? Okay, good trainers with the exception of Grandmaster, which is upgrades, Nufu and Zurfin. I think these are what, monster skills? I remember Nufu's monster skills, and I don't remember this one, and maybe monster skills. Have been removed from the regular encounter pool, and they offer free skills now. When not available for free, now cost 5, 10, 20, 40. The only free skill previously was the envelope that would give you 10 gold, which is kind of good value early game. But most skills being obtained via level up is kind of interesting. I'm sort of worried for Vanessa because Vanessa relies a lot on skills and getting a lot of them. Whereas I can't speak for DOOLEY on this, but Pig can pretty much skate on by only a few skills that they just end up getting. But Vanessa relies on skills, especially to build burn, to build, to get some haste, stuff like that. So, and skill change now offering 3 skills was also worrying for me, but they do always have rerolls, so maybe this means that, because some merchants that didn't have rerolls included the skills ones, such as the, what do you call it, the silver skills. I don't think you could reroll, or maybe you could, but there's definitely some that you can't reroll, so I'm just happy to do that. Okay. Aerodrome no longer spawns from train, that's just a bug, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Rerolls also vary in cost, which is, I would say, unfortunately it's probably fair, but it does mean that if you lock into a good merchant, that rerolling is probably out of your price range early game. Late game, when you have a lot of money, maybe it's fine. Post dig size on encounter instead of a merchant. Post dig size is the one that you could encounter. You could get any item, right? I'm wondering how that ends up playing out if it's an encounter. I guess we'll find out. Serafina. Okay, these are too many names. I need to look. I need to check but is there a catalog? Bazaar shop list. Game. Encounters. This is not the one I'm looking for. Anyway, okay, I don't think I'll be able to. I'll look it up. What is Serafina? The Bazaar wiki. Oh, the enchanted items. Yeah. Okay. Allowing multiple purchases, you're unlikely to be able to afford them most of the time, but that's okay. So the silver tier item merchant has been name changed. Monster Ranch is now gold tier and offers a free item from a selection of 5 items. Monster Ranch. Is that the get monster loot? It's now gold tier and offers 1 free item from a selection of 5. So you can't. Okay, so this is actually a necessary fix, but it's kind of a shame because I was enjoying abusing this one. So the way that this also, what the, hold on, we're gonna talk about this one. But first of all, the way that this used to work is that, of course, you could just go 0, 4, 8 to get bronze, silver, gold tier, but now they made it less likely to show up, and now it offers 1 free item from a selection of 5. So you basically get the pick of your choice progressionally. It doesn't cost you money, which it used to be just like if you have $8, get more money and get the resource you want. So it's nice. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, silver tier item merchant no longer spawns on day 1. Pretty reasonable. Where was I on? Yeah, start of an item pool no longer contains large items. This is a huge, instinctually, this is a huge nerf to Vanessa. Vanessa runs are pretty much like, if you get Crow's Nest, you get Trebuchet early. Both of those are very huge run definers that can easily like guide you into a consistent run. And I think that it's also a fairly big nerf to Pig. This doesn't affect what do you call it, DOOLEY at all, I think, because DOOLEY only gets the companion cores as far as I'm aware. So this is actually pretty bad for everything that's not DOOLEY, but I think DOOLEY will get nerfed anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal as far as I'm aware of it. Okay, snack time slight nerf, which is fair because it was a no-brainer in a lot of scenarios because you would just pick it instead of the chocolate. Restorative and shielded have been better updated so that you heal equal to shield, etc., etc. That makes sense. So that's something that shields and then gets restorative, or vice versa. It doesn't just become like 20 shield and becomes pointless. That's fair. Grandmaster and B1 and B2, that's the skills and item upgrade options. I was very pissed off that these guys could offer options that weren't upgrades in the first place. I don't know why that was even a thing. Okay, this is basically small, medium, and large. The shop vendors that sell you the thing that isn't there, they're not gonna a buff for the thing that they actually want. Essentially, like the ones that don't sell you small items, this one will buy small items at high value, and so now there's actually plays that you can make based on where you want to sell something, which is nice. It's a little bit annoying for your having to think about it, but you know what, that's okay. Bullshoe upgrades the bullshoe. I've only seen this option once or twice because I don't take bullshoe that often. Anyway, here we go. Replay and recaps enabled. Thank fuck. I was really hoping that this would be an option sooner rather than later so that you can actually see stuff that happens. Eddie has arrived. Spin the wheel for a prize. I wonder if that's we'll find out, I guess, when I open the game, but I wonder if that's like a daily award or if it's like in the game you spin the wheel. It's like the Play the Spy thing. Once the HP reduced, veteran octopus has doubled the health. It's still gonna be really easy if you can take it. Retiree has got bandages as a succulent. That's fine. Sparring partner disabled. Yeah, it was pretty much. It's not very like balanced or like usable, and it takes a while to start. Not even joking. First street champion I want to show re-enabled. I guess I wouldn't know. Robo Bounce has been renamed. Brilliant. Borea is now worse, which is good because it didn't have very much useful things to go for a gold tier. So you would only do it for if you didn't have things in the early tiers that were relevant for your upgrades or your skills or whatever. 10 City Mayor is now day 5 instead of day 2. Makes sense because I think the items in there were pretty relevant. It was pretty easy to do so. Okay, general item changes. Here we go. Log in. Enchantment updates. Heavy no longer increases number of items that are slowed. Now it's double slow duration. Excuse me. Restorative and shielded now map to the damage, or if the items already have. For example, weapons against shield with shield equal. This is really good. This basically, thank fuck, because it means that enchantments are no longer useless on a lot of things. Because when your random enchant shows up, when you go down to 0 prestige and you get your last chance, that's the most frustrating thing, right? Because then you get like restorative or you get shield, and you're like, but if I have no restorative or shielding items, I'm just gonna get 20 shield once every 5 seconds and lose. It doesn't do anything. So we'll see what they cook with this. Now for items, I'm gonna check them. I'm gonna have the database open so that I'm giving you the context on this. How Bazaar.gg, shout out to them if they're gonna keep updating this. I assume they've been. Hopefully they haven't fixed it yet because I actually need to see the old version. Okay. Snowflake. When you see this, give your leftmost freeze item 1 second to freeze. That's kind of a busted item, of course, but it's been reverted, I guess. I don't know what it used to be. Weather machine has a cooldown of 5 seconds. And they already fixed it. It used to be 3 seconds, that I know, because I have a run on that on YouTube. Chakra Increase as a projectiles updated, that's fine. Rivet gun can now be enchanted with obsidian and shiny. That sounds like a nightmare. Butter has been updated. That's the cooking hero, right? Jewel, yes. Haste an item and get multi-cost for adjacent tools or food. Interesting, interesting. Durable. What is durable? It's a Mac item. Okay, well, these items are very hard to get anyway, so it's kind of, you can't build around them. You just kind of lock into them. So the buff and nerf of these is not actually as relevant. That's like a hero that we have access to right now. That's kind of fine. Okay. Venomander. These are all like pretty useless items because you can't build around them, which is kind of, it's fine, but I wouldn't focus my attention on that. Anyway, Jumping Stone now starts at silver tier. I guess you can get them from like random small item drops, whatever, maybe, but Jumping Stone now starts at silver tier and is 5, 10, 20 instead of 6, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay. So, and they also, because they also changed the way their monster loot works. This is overall, I think this is an overall buff, but it's an early game nerf, which is fine. It means that you should go for upgrades in the early game. Like usually you could get away with just never upgrading like your cutlass or your katana, because you would just sell all your sharpening stones onto it and you will get the damage buff, but in this case it's not. They're changing how it works a bit. Okay. Cinder is now 1, 2, and 4. That's fucked up. Okay. Extract and Cinder being nerfed. Extract and being nerfed. These are probably good, but I don't think DOOLEY actually relies on them. DOOLEY internally buffs itself. These both seem like pretty big nerfs for Vanessa, especially Cinder nerfing Vanessa. They basically said like fuck you to the mid game of Vanessa fire buffs, and as well as nerfing the skills, I'm worried for the burn builds of Vanessa, because I have a lot of fun building a Vanessa burn build, but if you can't buff the fire in the mid game, because it's gonna be just straight up slow to get it, because you're not gonna get it early game, and you're also not going to get it. Unless I'm mistaken, and then it starting at silver tier doesn't make it impossible to get early game, it just means that like the mid game suffers. I guess we'll find out, but overall this has to be a nerf, because they remove, it's just like the distribution is just less, you know, and you're not gonna get diamond Cinder pretty much ever. So you're stuck on your gold Cinder in your late game. It's gonna be 2 instead of 3, which is just worse. So I'm kind of worried about this, but hopefully it just means that overall the game is not getting as like hyper. Trying to calm stuff down a bit. Okay. They scaled the medkit and scrap amounts a little bit differently. 3, 6, 4, 24 instead of 4. They're like doubling it instead of incrementing it. That's fair, because they're doing the same thing here by transferring it to out of bronze tier. Mortal Coil now has lifesteal, but it's the Mortal Coil is the weapon that gives lifesteal, right? Yes, the weapon left of this is basically you only use it if you don't have a way to give your weapon lifesteal. If you're playing like, I don't know, Pig. Sunlight Spear's cooldown is 5 seconds. What is Sunlight Spear? Oh, it's the useless, when you heal this gains burn. Extremely niche item. I've never found a way to make it work. I guess you could do it if you had a healing focused Vanessa build, maybe. That's the only way I could find it working. Okay. Statue is now silver tier with a 7-second cooldown. When you buy a potion, increase the regen this item gives. And reload a potion. Another useless item. Except for like if you lock into it. A lot of these items are very useless because they're for a character that we don't have yet and may never have. I don't know the roadmap of this. So these balance changes are very minor. Cosmic Plume, is that the That's the bird, the big bird feather. Why would you want to enchant that with deadly? It's got 6 cooldown. It does very little. It's so useless. Okay, Necronomicon. Legendary. It's a lich drop. Poison 10 gain regen when any non-weapon is used charged is 1 second. AKA if you can beat lich, go crazy mode. Yeah, rivet gun is a busted item if you can ever get it. I didn't know Sergeant Suds has it though. Maybe that means I should be going for Sergeant Suds a little bit more often. Neurotoxin now starts a bronze tier slow item, and yeah, they should really put the from here, and they made it a charge instead, I guess. Yeah, they're trying to remove instant cast from a few things, which I think is fair, because it sort of it breaks part of like slowing and freezing and everything, and breaks those interactions. Icebreaker deals more damage, irrelevant. 1, 2, 2. Are they short? You're not gonna do 1, 2, 3? I mean, if that's not a bug, that's interesting. That means you never want to upgrade this to the higher level if you're going to be buffing it manually anyway. It's 40 more health, I guess. That's fine. Okay. A lot of these items are like drops for the most part. So these are not like major, what do you call it, balance changes that change how the game is played. Okay. Yeah, they're shifting a lot of this. So these are not very useful. Pendulum is interesting. When you crit charge, this haste your items to say. Wait, Pendulum can be good now. Pendulum can be really good. There's also differentiation Pendulum from, is it Sextocrat? That's fucked up. Sextant. I don't know why the fuck I said Sextocrat. I'm losing my mind. Yeah, Sextant used to have the pretty much the exact same. Oh no, they changed Sextant as well. They changed them both to make them the same item. Pathetic. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it's a little pathetic because they're still the same item, man. You're gonna have two of the same item. Differentiate them a little bit. But okay, this seems like a buff though, because then if you're gonna be constantly critting, you're gonna charge or you're gonna haste all your items. You know, I like it. It's from a balance perspective, it is better. I think makes me more likely to take it because that means it haste all your items. If you crit a lot, you're just gonna be perma hasted. I like it. Proboscis is now just a weapon, straight up a weapon, instead of being like a pseudo weapon. And this means you can like, you know, put stuff onto it like you would with a weapon. I guess that means you can also enchant it and cooldown reduction it, can't you? Which is nice. Oven mitts, propane tank, cryo sleeve. They need to categorize these by hero, because otherwise it's hard to read. I'll tell you which ones I think are impactful. Oven mitts and sirens don't seem very impactful. The oven mitts is not completely useless, but it doesn't seem as good as a lot of the other options. Cryo sleeve is also very niche. Propane tank is kind of a good item, but it's also still pretty niche. Asia vehicles is kind of crazy. Igloo. Okay, so Igloo is now no longer shielding the skills with all of your freeze. Instead, it shields itself independently. And first time you fall below, so this seems like a it's a buff to itself, but it's a nerf in like if you're in a full freeze build. But still, I still think 1, 2, and 3 seconds is just not enough. 1 second of freeze for a 6-second cooldown is so useless for a large item. It's pathetic. It has no charge. It has nothing. It just shields like a little bit. For a pig item that's supposed to be in the late game, you're not gonna get a diamond for this and get 3 seconds of freeze for one item. For large item spot, it just doesn't make sense. Getting gun more damage makes sense because it's starting at low damage. It's already a very, very pointless item because it takes long enough to get to a point. And by this point, you're going to have better weapons anyway. It's like a last resort sort of thing. Hydraulic squeezer. Oh, this thing. It's like it's a fancy version of the aquatic claw from Vanessa, but that charges with tools. But if you're gonna have tools, then where are your weapons? You know, you gotta consider these questions. Magic carpet. Okay, Rudy double bow, nerf and has crit chance. But these are the things that you can get from the health sacrifice option. Overall, I don't see very many DOOLEY nerfs. I don't see much that would change DOOLEY. But let's see. Okay. Skills. Here we go. Basic skills have been removed that buff small, medium, and large, as well as niche skills. Can you tell me which skills were removed, or am I gonna have to guess? Am I gonna have to just like think about it? You gotta developers making patch notes. I appreciate you're doing hard. You're doing a lot of work. You're doing hard work. You gotta start. Many enchantments on items have been updated. What the fuck do you mean many? Which ones? List them. When you make a game that rewards obsessing over small details and then you don't like, which niche skills were deemed too situational? Tell me. This is called the patch notes because the only people who read this are the nerds like me who played too much of this game, and I haven't even played that much of this game yet. Where the only thing they're doing is looking for every single. But basically, this is the closest we can get to looking at the fucking source code of the game and figuring out what's happening. Thank you for the rest of this, but tell me which ones are removed. If you know, my rant could be cancelled if it just says it somewhere else. Okay, here we go. Desperate Cleanse. This is the Death Knight Reaper. The first time you fall below half health, Fiery Rebirth no longer cleanses or self burns. Does that mean that you can actually take Fiery Rebirth from? Yeah, it just heals you to full. That means that Radiant Corsair is killable with burn, which is great. Corrosive Toxins is nerfed. That's good, but I think it's on DOOLEY, it still just kills you. Heat Shield re-enabled. What is Heat Shield? It's a DOOLEY skill. When you burn with an item, gain shield equal to the burn. And yourself, DOOLEY, man. God damn it. Passive aggressive re-enter shell shock with effective. Your items have +1 damage for each ammo you have on your items in play. That's pretty minor. Short up is now on your heal. Charge a shield item 1 second. Pretty good. Void energy. That's the void golem or whatever. The void guy. When you burn, charge a shield item 1 second. You're pretty much never gonna get it, but that's pretty nice. Sick burn is now when you poison, charge a bad item 1 second. Still a busted item to get now for Vanessa Well-Glass builds, of course. Toxicity gives plus damage when you poison and it scales higher. And Shatter gives, well, you're not going to freeze that much anyway, but Shatter gives you more damage when you freeze. Poison seems more relevant than freeze. Okay. I'm gonna go fast on some of these stat change ones. Because they're mostly just changing the tier because the skills, where you get skills, also changing. Shield Bash. Non-weapon item charges a weapon 1 second. That's pretty good. That's way better. Makes it relatively reasonable to get. Okay, here I'm just gonna keep scrolling. They like tweaked the burn. Start slower, get stronger. I see. Makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. They buffed the crit chance. It made sense because the crit chance was pretty pathetic. So a lot of these are just like, oh, it starts at diamond tier, starts at silver tier, etc., etc. Very few huge reworks and changes. Oh, okay. Never mind, they did categorize it. Those were just the general ones. I apologize, developers, for a little bit of it, my slander, but not all of it. Okay, ports now drops items equal to its tier, no longer gives more ammo, and scales the reload. Perfect. As well as cost hero items, also perfect for some fun stuff. I think this makes port more fun. I don't know if it makes it better. It probably won't make it like useful, but I'm happy to see it. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be dead ass with you guys. I just took a shit and paused the YouTube recording, and now I'm back, but I don't know where I was up to. I think I stopped right here. I said port and I said life preserver re-enabled. Pufferfish re-enabled. I stopped playing right after they disabled it, so I'm happy that it's re-enabled because I remember it being busted. Here we go. Life preserver. The first time you would die, each fight heal a little bit, up to 2k, and it shields regularly as well. Not that much synergy for, what is it, a medium shielding and healing item. I presume you can buff the heal, naturally speaking. I'm happy to see it. Okay, Pufferfish re-enabled. 8 second cooldown, poison, 6 from base level. And then when you haste charge this, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm happy to, now poison builds are back on the menu. I'm happy to see it. We'll see how broken this version is. The previous one was pretty busted, as I saw videos of. Barrel is now a silver tier with self buff, scaling, and shield. As such, Barrel still is very, very niche, and I haven't seen it actually work. Turtle Shell now actually charges when you use a non-weapon item. Turtle Shell, never mind. Shield Vanessa may be back on the menu. There may be an option to do something with this. I don't. When you use a non-weapon item, this includes burn. We could fit shield in the in a burn build for a true Vanessa stall. There could be something cooking there. I believe in it. I'm liking that. Okay, Cannonade is now 6 second cooldown. Deal 100 damage when you use weapon. Charge this. I think that seems like a. It could be a. I think it's a. Is it a nerf? It is a nerf because it used to be 50 damage whenever you use a weapon. Use this basically, right? But now it's like, let's assume it's the max level, which it would then. Does it scale the damage? It does. It does not. Okay. But that means that, essentially speaking, even at max level, it'll only be equivalent to its previous functionality at max level, because then it'll deal 100 damage on 2. Previously it was 50 each time, right? So it seems like a pretty big nerf. But like, I mean, it's not really that much of a used item in the first place. Electric eels. I haven't seen people use electric eels that much. I guess you can scale the damage of it. It's now 6 in cooldown, deal 25 damage slow an item whenever your enemy uses an item. Charge this. Hold on, that electric eels, scaling electric eels could go crazy. It could go crazy. Because now it actually gets used as well. So now it can have something. It can activate use effects, which is big, very big. Items that didn't activate use effects before pretty much useless because of the skills, but also skills are being rechanged. So there's a lot is changing. But this is, I think, a buff to electric eels, in my opinion, because it does both at the same time rather than just weapon non-weapon differentiation. You know, now it's more uniformly effective. Illuso, is it illusory? You misspelled illusory. You can enchant this with deadly. What? How does that work? What is illusory, man? Am I losing my mind? Switchblade is now 15, 30, 60, 120. Still a very slow weapon, so the damage on the Switchblade itself is pretty irrelevant, in my opinion. Blunderbuss is now flat 100 when you burn. Charge this 1 or 2. Okay. So overall enough, it seems like. Overall enough. Double barrel damage up, pretty good because you need something to activate it, so it makes sense. It was already like pretty underwhelming because of the reload requirement. Seaweed now starts bronze and now is skills even better. Okay, we are Stall Vanessa could be a play. Everything is sort of building towards a Stall Vanessa build. I'm sort of liking my chances here. An aquatic Stall Vanessa build, I'll be open to try it, although it doesn't seem to be in the best interest of Vanessa. But the burn seems to not be as effective either, with the cinders not being as available. It depends on the consistency. Maybe from the skills, if it's always guaranteed, then even if it's less, you get more across the breadth of your run. We'll see. Okay. Extravaganza has a cooldown and charges from adjacent use. So this is pretty much just a nerf. It seems just less effective, and it's not like it was that common of a use anyway. The problem with items like this is that unless you build up skills and arrange your items in a very specific way, you've already used your cinder on something else, and you're gonna get this very late, and it's not gonna do very much. That's the problem, because you can't buff it. If you could buff it, then it becomes busted pretty quickly. But it's often too late for you to be able to buff it. That's the problem. So Sextant has a cooldown of 4 seconds and is haste one item for 3 seconds. It's the same thing that they did to Pendulum. I think this is a buff because it means all your items are hasted. Oh, it's one item, and Pendulum is all items, if I'm reading this right. Yes, so Pendulum is better. This is worse then. Okay. But it got a shorter cooldown and it does charge pretty quick, but the problem is yeah, it basically just makes it like 1 second. It just makes it worse. It just straight up makes it worse. But it also makes it useful if you don't get crits. So its average, its floor is higher, but its ceiling for when you have crit is straight up worse. Okay. Lighthouse, now that silver tier. Yes, we can build lighthouse builders. I want to, every time I tried to get lighthouse, it was just too late. I'm very happy with this. Slow lighthouse build, I will be trying to do it because it's a silver tier large item. We will be there. We will be there. And when you slow, charges 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so at max level, it's as effective as it was. I'm loving every minute of it, to be honest with you. I'm loving every minute of it. I'm enjoying it. Okay, trebuchet nerfs required. And now the thing that scales is the charge instead of the damage and burn. So leveling it is actually kind of busted because you only leveled it for the damage as like a last resort. But if you could get a lot of burn built on top of a trebuchet and you can get it on a 4-second charge at max somehow. Like this just, I think this makes it, this actually might make trebuchet better in a build, worse standalone. If that makes sense, right? Because previously you could probably get away with just trebuchet and one other thing because it could deal enough damage and burn by itself if you just leveled it. I think this means that you need to build around it and be okay with leveling it exclusively. Okay. Throwing knife, which is a very useless item, deals fixed damage and now the charge is increased. I guess throwing knife could work with port now. I guess port also buffs everything, so I could see that, but the problem is you never pick it up in the first place unless you're already so ammo rich that you're sort of waiting for port, which happens. Okay, water wheel 8-second cooldown used to be 6 if I'm remembering correctly. Haste's 2 seconds fixed, so you're gonna want to buy the boots. But 2 seconds was already good enough for base level, which is nice. And it now has stats from 1 second to, so you need to get a water wheel to max level to get back to what it used to be, which I think is fair. I think this is 100% fair that you need a max level or at least a gold water wheel for like a reasonable synergy, and it's already going to be even longer. It basically means you can't go as infinite as you used to be able to, which is fair. I think that just means it's no longer an auto pick. You can sort of consider the other haste options on the board, and they do the similar thing to Captain's Wheel. Basically, making things have to be diamond for them to be like as viable as they once were sort of incentivizes different decision making, right? Sorry, a diamond pearl charges 4 seconds at max. That could go fucking insane. Stall is actually on the board. Sorry, Astro. Oh, that it's a shield effect. I was like, charge this and it hates. No, okay. But no, this part is straight up a buff. It's fixed 2 seconds. It means that you can't get it up to 3, but 2 seconds has been enough most of the time. You don't really need a diamond astrolabe unless you have 6-second cooldown items, which you do have now. You do have them now. Catfish has now got 5 seconds. Cooldown. Good catfish. Catfish never had a 3-second cooldown. Am I crazy? This must be a mistake because Catfish was always 6 seconds, man. I think they made a slight error here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tripwire. Slows an item. Okay, they're just removing a lot of instacast items, which I think is fair because instacast items are sort of hard to intuitively understand. They should be limited to things that don't actually, that are mostly passive effects. They don't actively do something like deal damage. Like Silencer, I think makes sense, right? Ballista damage is higher. Still not going to see very much ballista usage unless you have the port build. I guess you don't need the port build if you have literally a bunch of small ammo items to use them before your ballista so that you get infinite multicast and you go crazy, or you try to go for the one hit kill. Just fair. Okay. It's an equal. That doesn't make it more viable of an option though. It's a difficult thing to build around. Dam now starts gold tier 24 seconds. Destroy all smaller items and charge it when you use an aquatic item. You're still not gonna run it. It's too niche. It's a large item that's like it's like a meta counter. It counters like some DOOLEY builds. That's it. You lose to Pig because you wasted large item on nothing. You lose to Vanessa a lot of the time. Like it's not worth it. Okay. Now they basically just put a silver tier on Shark Ray. When you add a lower tier, it makes it easy to build around something. So that's the same thing I said about Lighthouse. Makes it easy to build around. I think you could have a Shark Ray, but they also nerf Water Wheel and Captain's Wheel. So less haste, but maybe more consistency. Crow's Nest is no longer able to give 100% crit chance on max level. It's 24 to 60, 80. It is a nerf, but you were already going to probably be building a little bit because you're not going to predict on getting a diamond. So if you're getting to 60, you're probably hoping to get 20, like your 40% from like your, going to Curio and getting the Eagle medallions or whatever to give yourself more crit chance, etc. And the coveted blue gumballs, right? Grappling for 1 second again. Overall, I'd say poison and maybe a bit like a shield and health stalling Vanessa could be more viable now. And haste has been nerfed though, so it's sort of your mileage may vary. I'm gonna be and Lighthouse slow build is back on the table because it didn't nerf Dockylions, they didn't nerf any of that. So I think slow is on the table. Okay, Pygmalion. I'm gonna be less of an expert on Pygmalion, and I will not be able to tell you much about DOOLEY except to laugh at DOOLEY. Okay, what is luxury 10? Now you might say, why am I listening to this guy? I think it's sometimes more viable to listen to someone sort of figure something out. It makes you feel a little bit better, maybe. Although if you're looking for expertise, maybe that's not worth it. Luxury 10s. First time you would die heal for 20 or 25 or 50%, depending on gold or diamond. And your heal items have plus or multi-cost. That's a big one. That's a big one. If you're going for a full heal build, multi-cost on succulents could be crazy mode. I'm thinking that I'm interested to see how this one works. Beehive re-enabled. Beehive. When you buy a property, get a busy bee and give your busy bees damage. The busy bees. Busy bee. Deal damage. It's just a little guy. Okay. Booby trap. Now charges 1 second on property use. I'm in items. Booby trap. Oh, now it's got a cooldown. And it freezes items by itself. Okay. So not as good, basically. Not as good. Shipment now is equal to its tier and cross hero items. I'm surprised that was not the case to begin with. It's still pretty useless though. Atlas Stone. I remember Atlas. Atlas Stone. Either fucking deal 1 damage, double this item's damage. I mean, it's so useless because it's hard to do damage on that kind of thing anyway. Model ship is now an aquatic vehicle. Funny because it's a model ship. And it now has a cooldown, shoots 20, and charges. So it's also been nerfed in the same way that other things, but it is a 4-second cooldown. So it's definitely just, it is straight up worse. Probably becomes no longer an auto pick unless you're sort of stuck in on. It's better than the alternatives. But did they not nerf duct tape? I guess they probably would have nerfed duct tape. That's a DOOLEY item, so I guess we'll check that out. Apropos, chapeau. That thing, the blue thing. Shield and adjacent weapon damage buff, silver plus. Yeah. Okay, Giant Ice Club nerf. But buff on diamond to charge. Why did they change the? Why did they remove a second? I think it's just to prevent it from showing triple digits. To prevent it from breaking things. That's funny. Okay. There's no other reason. It doesn't matter. Because this is just straight up a buff. If you're gonna get a Diamond Giant Ice Club and you freeze twice, it'll insta hit, which is lovely. So basically, Gold Giant Ice Club useless. Diamond Giant Ice Club could be busted as hell, as fuck. Very interesting. Okay, Matchbox buff. Let's go. It's so hard to build fire, but they nerfed it because it's now got a 4-second cooldown. And okay, so on Diamond Matchbox is as it used to be. It's still going to be good because it starts as burn 3, and it was impossible to build burn on this thing unless you went to Curio to buy the burn buffs. And I think it still is impossible. So this starts it off stronger, but I think it's still gonna be. You need to get this gold or higher for it to be anywhere near what it used to be. Snow Globe now gains multi. Was that not what it did already? Am I losing my mind? This is what Snow Globe did. It's been doing that. I'm not the crazy one here, am I? That was what the Snow Globe's property. I'm losing my mind. I guess maybe just announced it here. Okay. They downscaled the charge ability, but they upscaled the value of Landscraper and Vineyard. I think that's fair because they allow a lot of instant cast builds, right? Which I think they're trying to prevent like the instant combos, which is understandable. Yo-Yo has also been similarly nerfed. A lot of these nerfs do kill like the instant build, but I'm wondering if nerfing them across the board means that it's still going to be equal pick compared to what it used to be. Straight up a bushel buff, because if you get a silver bushel, you're gonna already be at what it used to be. When you shoot charge just 4 seconds at diamond from a 4-second cooldown, insane. That's with the bushel upgrade back in the option. Bushel might be an auto pick if you want to do a build when you're playing pig. Dare I say it? Okay, 4-second. Shield 20 increase enemy item cooldown. Is that the ability or is it a passive? I assume it's an ability because if it's a passive, then what is it? It will just shield 20. I can. Is this busted? Is it the broken item? Could you permanently kill someone's build by doing this? I think so. Okay, this is straight up a buff to marbles. Silver marbles is already better, and it's now it slows 2 items for 2 seconds, and you can buff it by going to Curio. Marbles buff, in my opinion. And you can still utilize this by, you know, Piggle activation. Okay, Dooley. Okay, rework on windmill. Overall, not too many changes for Pig, obviously. The instant builds that you could do with Landscraper and Vineyard both are gone, and as well as a bit of a nerf to Matchbox, which was already very niche and hard to build around. But I think now you just want to heal. I think you're back with bushel maxing. You're back with, you know, luxury tents, which seems pretty good. So you're back with heal maxing. Okay, coolant. Now I get to look these up and laugh at Dooley nerfs. But I have been using a few Dooley items when they show up when playing Vanessa or Pig. So maybe that's a shame. Coolant now only freezes a small item, as if they needed more help with that, but thank you. Omega Ray. What's Omega Ray, man? Omega Ray is the burn. It now buffs adjacent burn items, not all burn items. Still pretty strong. Omega Ray now starts silver instead of bronze. It's harder. The early game is maybe harder, but Dooley was already pretty weak early game compared to how good it can get later. Okay, still some slight nerfs. I'll take it. They combined the word for forklift. Fuel rod has been enabled. Burn both players, haste adjacent items, reduce adjacent vehicle cooldowns. Okay, it's 8 seconds. I don't think people will be running fuel rod unless they do a big build, which has happened. ISO Correct Freezer. I know that one. 4-second cooldowns to freeze a small item for 4 seconds. Yeah, that seems fair. Perma-freeze a small item at diamond. Yep. Rocket launcher no longer doubles damage while enemy has burn. It's a shame because I literally just had a 10-piece win in ranked by getting rocket launcher as Vanessa and going absolutely batshit insane on it. So that's a shame for me, but it's a great thing for anybody else. But I didn't see Dooley's running rocket launcher. It seemed like it was pretty much everyone else running rocket launcher, and Dooley was just like, we're gonna chill with our other burn items. Not gonna waste the resources and die on a medium burn. Right. Cooling fans is now reduced to either player's burn. That's, I think, straight up a buff. Shame. Railgun re-enabled. What is railgun? I have to check these items, man. 10-second multicast to charge to 3 seconds when you use cooldown array, deal damage. Ah, yes, fair. Blast doors re-enabled. I got a blast doors skin when I open a crate. Shield and charge when your opponent uses weapon of burn. It's medium. As if they needed this, but people are not going to use this because it's 20-second cooldown for a lot of shield. And what do you call it? Dooley still has auto scaling shield in all the options, right? This Allison has 1 max ammo down from 3. Seems reasonable. Okay, reduce cooldown. Poison scaling the same, but it no longer charges from this. Okay, I see. It just means that you're not gonna constantly you're not gonna be reducing this cooldown. Thank you. Mono Lizard, higher cooldown. It now poisons, and whenever you haste, it gains poison. So you're gonna be at most every 4 seconds, maybe a bit of charge. You're gonna be increasingly dumping poison. This is closer to, this is basically a larger version of Catfish now, which is good. Now we don't get insta poison immediately when they spam haste. They have to actually wait, like the rest of us. Throw a cooldown buff. That's fine. We don't see it. Is that a race called buff? No, it used to be bronze. Okay, never mind. But they're scaling the charge now instead of the damage, which is a common factor, I think, because a lot of damage is being scaled in other ways, I guess. Okay. The micro changes, yeah, they also changed duct tape, which is fair. I don't think this is gonna be a huge set of Dooley nerfs. Apart from the obvious though, the Chem Style and Monitor Lizard builds are gonna be dead in the way that they don't kill you so quick. Because they're not gonna be hasting everybody and then poisoning you all the time. Instead, they'll be building like bigger chunks of poison very slowly, which is good because that means that you can burst the Dooley down. which used to be the way that, which is the way you did it anyway. So everyone else's tactics haven't changed. I'll say it that way. A lot of bug fixes. Some memory leaks have been fixed. This did happen. Boards now open when opening from chests. Several bug fixes. I'm just gonna worry about other bugs. Extraneous tags. Yeah. Okay. Overall, this is a good start. I think the Monolith and Chem Snow nerfs are good. I think the Ray nerfs probably okay. But it's still a Jacer, which is like still good enough in my opinion. But I think Pig is the one that comes out of this balance the strongest. Pig didn't get pretty much any nerfs and got a lot of balance changes. And I think Pig was probably the worst stats wise, or maybe it was Vanessa. So I think Vanessa is still probably going to be the worst here, but it's still my favorite because it's the one I played the most of, and I'm a big burn guy. But I'm curious. I really want to try Lighthouse, and I want to try maybe a bit of a heal build, a bit of a stalling build. But yeah, that's been the balance changes. It's been literally 51 minutes of me looking at balance changes. Let you know the expansiveness of the balance changes. Look at all this, man. Look at all this. There's even more. Wait, no, these are the older ones, man. Did I lose my mind? No, I stopped here. I was losing my mind a little bit. It was only half the page, not the whole page. But I didn't actually read the rest of the stuff. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you at the bazaar, man. See you.